All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back to playing Call of Cthulhu, and we are continuing our Eternal Lies campaign, and it's about to get freaky in this episode. Possibly, we'll see. We'll talk a little about that in a little while. But yeah, we are getting close to the end of LA. I think we're nearing it. I don't think we're hitting it tonight, but it's soon. I think it's soon. And we'll see how that goes. I'm very excited because they already know this. This isn't spoiling for them, but the campaign kind of opens up after Los Angeles, and you get some interesting sources. So I'm very excited to see where we head after that. But we still got a little time before that decision is made. But LA has been a ton of fun for me. Hopefully, you all have been having fun as well. But I've really enjoyed it. All right. So why don't we go ahead and let's get into this. Let's do some quick intros so that we can dive right into play. We're going to start with our lawman, Pastor Wood.
Well, you see, Jeff, I don't appreciate when you say we start with a lawman because I introduced myself as a lawman, and now we're saying lawman too many times. So Pastor Zephaniah Wood is a man of the law. We're going to say that this time, change it up a bit. I'm a man of the Old Testament law, and I'm a man of Texas law, and I enforce them both as I see fit.
I mean, I think that's fairly accurate that you do what you want. That's basically what you just said. You do what you want, and you really don't care about whatever anyone else has to say about it. What I like is that it came back to bite you a little bit. So that was nice to see.
When does it not?
Yeah, that's a fair point. And it might continue to start biting you for some time, but we'll see. Next up, Melissa, tell us about Marie Wynn.
So Marie Wynn is a jazz singer, a sometimes shy jazz singer who sometimes needs one-upmanship of a party member to coax her into being a show-off. She is going to be interested if we're going to have some tearful tarmac farewells here at some point when we leave LA, because we're going to have some interesting characters who are going to continue their lives in LA when we go do other things.
That is going to be interesting. I mean, maybe some of you stay behind and you just come up with new characters, and that's what it is. Maybe we do that. Who knows? Next up, Maitre, tell us about Shaima.
Shaima Oberon is your student researcher who is also 6'3" and built like a linebacker, and is basically body dysmorphia, the tabletop character. I'm really excited about today's session, and I have been waiting for it like a very normal person.
Yes. So. Maitre has messaged me no less than 25 times per day about the game.
If I wasn't holding myself back, it would have been 50, so you're welcome.
I have put all of those messages into ChatGPT, asked ChatGPT to summarize them for me and read them back to me, and now we're here and ready to go. AI does love a use.
Squeal. It's just a squeal.
It's just the squeal. That's exactly what it came back as. Super
still
accurate.
Nothing compared to what Kipser would send me during the X-Men game. Like just paragraphs. I love you, Kipser.
Funny. She was talking shit about you on Thursday when you weren't in the game, and now here you are talking shit about her on Saturday when she's not in the game.
For the record, I only talk shit about my friends. Just throwing that out there.
That's not what she said. Next up, we've got Ashley. Tell us about Beverly Key.
I'm playing Dr. Beverly Key, a professor of anthropology, and she's normally a very no nonsense woman until it comes to her vices. Then she tends to really let loose. And she definitely did. She had a wild evening date and then a later date with Ed Exley. And now she's trying to get back in the groove of things, her mind back onto the actual case at hand.
I wish we could I wish we were a ridiculously successful stream, not just because it would be nice to be a ridiculously successful streamer, but so that we could afford to get like certain music rights, like Bound Chicka Wow, or like the other one. What's the other one? Like the one from the 80s that was like all around. It's like do 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 do. It was like from Ferris Bueller, and it was like from The Secret of My Success and stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
You would know it if you heard. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. If you know the name of that song, let me know what it is. If you own the rights to that song and want to just give them over for free, let me know too. Chicka chicka. Yeah, you got it. John Mixon, you got it. Chicka chicka. That's the one. Oh, God. That would have been perfect for like you guys just sort of like sneaking around. Like we just watched this like comical return to the hotel of Pastor Wood and Beverly Key. Pastor Wood coming beaten up, smelling like pus and piss, and Beverly Key coming back like makeup all messed up from a night on the.
She's holding her heels, walking barefoot.
Oh yeah. And it was just like the constant like the near misses of the two of you almost seeing each other each time. That would have been pretty amazing. And then finally, speaking of amazing, we have the best singer in the party? Patrick Price.
Ooh. I'm Patrick Price, your friendly neighborhood barber. I've gotten a nice collection of things. Missing a finger, $50, unknown flask, been popping pills. I've got cigars. About to get more drugs. I'm working the ass for.
That is an excellent question. Sorry, I was typing. Yes. Okay. Speaking of drugs, we're going to get to that. Calm down. Long also messaged me about 50 times this week, and he was just like, so are we going to do the drugs? And I'm like, we can't do them on stream, but we can role play. And he was much better about that.
The broad many ways.
I'm going to go get that little jar that Stephen brought me last time he visited. Okay. All right. Anyhow.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Call of Cthulhu. Last time, Pastor Wood, you tried to track down on your own, because that's smart, Jack Pisner by heading to his neighborhood bar, Kelly's Corner. There, you noticed that there are some off-duty cops that were eyeing you down. After a few moments, Pisner showed himself. And he introduced you to somebody he claims to be Mo Pisner's father. Mo Pisner, the man that you murdered. And then he unleashed his various allies on you. You got a few shots off. That, from the sounds of screams, likely landed. But you were quickly outnumbered. You were knocked out. And you were taken into Pisner's custody. Meanwhile, a completely different kind of evening on the Midnight Duchess, where a party was ongoing. And Patrick Price showed a very wonderful hidden talent. Apparently, he was a top-grade crooner, and in doing so, finally encouraged Marie to join him on stage. Bev, you got to introduce Shima to a new friend, Johnny Stompanato, who was one of Massimo Ocone's men, and the guard to whom, Bev, you had actually promised to dance. But Johnny's interest changed once he and Shima bumped into each other, and the two, well, they hit it off, and they spent basically the rest of the night and the morning together. Now, Olivia Clarendon, meanwhile, finally opened up too. She explained a little bit about how she once attended one of these like sex parties hosted by Ramon Echeverria and had a very alarming experience, going so far as to admit that she witnessed something that just didn't make sense. Like all these depraved acts were happening, but she swears she saw the sofa on which Echeverria was in flagrante. Like it grew a mouth of its own, and the mouth was, to her words, participating in those sex acts. Now, she never returned to those parties. She cut ties with Richard Spend, and she cut ties with George Ayres, and she explained how George Ayres was just a consultant on a film that she was on because he knew a lot about obscure cults and religions. And as the party was winding down, Shima, you also had a wonderful moment where you confronted the wife of a local politician who had insulted you, and you physically attacked her, which got great praise from both Johnny and Massimo. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Johnny and Shima, then you also made breakfast plans, and he confided in you a little bit as he told you about nectar and how it was some kind of drug, and that he was supposed to go over to a nectar den, and he was supposed to bust some heads on behalf of Massimo. Later in the morning, we got to also check back in with Pastor Wood, who awoke in a very terrible state. He was beaten, he was bloody, and he was left in a drug flop house. There were various syringes and syrettes and empty bottles of booze laid around nearby, and a dead body of a man that he recognized. It was an informant that he had talked to the night before outside of Pisner's house. Wood, you also had a bunch of puncture wounds up and down your arms, and your head kind of was thrumming as well. And you weren't alone, as there's another man in the shadows who, upon showing himself, you realized was actually a Catholic priest. He wore the garb, at least. He was also very befuddled and seemed to be kind of affected or maybe coming down from a high. And he noted that there was another man upstairs who was likely the one responsible for the dead body. You said, "To hell with that," and you left. So back with the rest of the crew, Bev, you split off from everybody. You went to the hotel. You had a nice little tryst with Ed Exley, while everybody else continued the night. Bev, you did run into Pastor Wood briefly and kind of tended to his wounds, but elsewhere, Shima and Johnny, you had some breakfast. And Johnny revealed that the Akone family wasn't actually involved in the nectar trade, which had been kind of a working theory I think Shima was pushing forward. And instead that it was run by two men, Samson Trammell, a name that you all are familiar with, and a Captain Walker, a name that also came up in the contacts for Jack Pisner. Akone had no idea and has no idea where Trammell and Walker get their product, and they've spent years trying to figure out. They know all sorts of folks up and down the coast in terms of distribution and production, and they have no idea where it comes from. So while all this was happening, Johnny did actually notice Patrick Manrie had been following Shima during this date, and invited the two of them on a double date to go skull thumping at a nearby nectar den. So you headed down to San Pedro. You found this dilapidated artist co-op. You went inside, and there you found four people, each in various stages of undress, listening to music and apparently very, very high. But before we check in with what's going on in that flop house, in that co-op, let's check in briefly with Pastor Wood and Beverly Key. So we'll say it's late morning, 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. Maybe even closer to noon. The two of you have probably cleaned up a bit, gotten some food, a little bit of rest maybe you could have potentially have gotten. And we'll say that the two of you meet up at some point in one of the other's rooms. What is the plan for the two of you today, as none of your compatriots have returned?
Dr. Key, I do believe I owe you an apology for earlier. When I asked for some privacy, I referred to you by your first name, and that was probably too casual for coworkers. So I apologize. I've had a rough night.
And she notably looks at the track marks that or at your arm. I presume your sleeves are down now, but she looks at your arm where she had noticed track marks the night before.
If he was bare chested, then we would have a whole different conversation right now. Isn't that right, Pastor Wood?
Oh, no.
I would have something else to apologize for.
But she just kind of, you certainly did. And you got off your telegram to your wife, okay?
Yes, I was able to send the message. Perhaps it's better if we just focused on work for the day. Perhaps we could turn this day into something productive.
Did Patrick leave a note in your room at all as to where they're at today?
Not that I noticed, Patrick.
I don't think he ever returned to the hotel.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Yeah,
We just left straight from the ship to go here.
yeah.
Was there a mention on the ship though that Shama and Patrick would be following? Marie and Patrick would be following Shama.
Beverly might be aware of that.
Vaguely remember
Beverly
that.
might
know.
That.
Yeah.
I think she kind of is aware, but I think at that point she was maybe macking too much.
It's completely reasonable.
So-
Got a lot of white wine spritzers.
Yes, she was white girl wasted, let me say.
So, Dr. Key, where do you think we would be most productive if we headed off to?
Well, and she'll pull out her kind of notebook that she's had, and she flips through her checklist. Well, we haven't followed up on the auction house yet. Perhaps we should head there.
Splendid. Do you think perhaps we could make one quick stop at the shop before we go.
Sure. What do you need?
I appear to have misplaced my revolver.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, let's go do that.
Okay, so we'll watch Pastor Wood, we'll watch Beverly Key head down to the lobby of the hotel and start running some errands for the day.
Mhm.
Before we get too far in, I do want to give a little warning. This campaign can go to some kind of darker, creepy places. So just be warned of that. Everyone here is warned of it. Everyone in the player, so we're all kind of aware of it. So just let you know if you're listening, and some stuff comes up. It's all kind of done with a level of consent here, and we're always going to wave off if something gets too creepy or weird for someone. Not that I should necessarily bring that up, as we now cut to this artist co-op.
Mm-hmm.
Where, just to remind you all, if you have forgotten, this place it's a tucked away building in this kind of industrial sprawl down in San Pedro, where like there's a lot of like oil drillings and derricks and stuff that you pass along the way. But you found this small artist co-op, this kind of bohemian haven behind and deep in the nested between these series of alleys, and it was. The further and further you dug into this neighborhood, it got just more dilapidated until you found this building that was, you can tell was like once this sort of stately, or at least a very respected kind of Art Deco style, but here you can tell it's like tarnished. And you can also tell like some of the windows themselves were kind of dust caked and cracked. And when you went inside, there was some dim light through partially drawn curtains, and the air had this kind of mixture of tobacco and turpentine, and you would recognize it. Many of you would, at least, the smell of sex. And you looked around, and there was canvases and sculpting tools, all sorts of different equipment that you would expect from artists of a variety of mediums to just be thrown about in this relatively creative and chaotic fervor. And there's tattered furniture, repurposed blankets, there's cushions, walls that are adorned with all these frenzied sketches, splattered paint, all that kind of stuff. And there were 4 individuals. You can see, and they were all in various states of undress. There was a Hispanic woman in a torn robe that was like kind of sprawled across this Persian rug with some sort of sketchbook, and there was a shirtless Caucasian man who was resting his bare, blackened feet right on top of her. And he was also cradling what looked like a camera. And then there was like this dark corner where you heard these erratic laughs and could see the half shape of a heavyset red-haired woman who was mostly naked except for like a dislodged brassiere, but she was also kind of covered in mud and caked clay. And there was a completely naked Hispanic man, with the exception of these heavy rain boots, that was sitting at a stool in front of an easel, kind of twisting his mustache and staring at his canvas. And you also heard the sounds of this music playing, and a kind of a Mexican classical guitar, very smooth, slow, and a woman singing in Spanish over top of it. Now, as you all are here, and there's like a recessed, deeper portion of this apartment. As you all are here, they don't really seem to be alarmed at your sudden appearance. Johnny is with you, and he turned like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what they're like. And as he's doing that and kind of showing you all, you see him start to go into the deeper recesses. All right, I just got to do a sweep just to make sure there's no one else here. No one's going to jump out. Sometimes some walkers, guys, they linger and they try to, conk us over the head or two. So just hang tight. And so you can see he starts doing kind of a sweep of the house. While this is happening, those of you nearby watch as the man at the easel, you see him kind of lean forward, and his tongue extends from his mouth, and he just starts kind of licking and dragging his tongue on the canvas itself. And you can see now, and you can hear the sounds of almost kind of masturbation beginning as he's kind of in this sort of zoned out trance-like state, doesn't even seem to notice that you all are here. And you can see that the woman on the ground who's sketching, you can see she's just sort of drawing these kind of strange circular waves around and around and around. And the woman in the corner is still kind of cackling. And you can hear the sounds of like, and you think it's probably like clay or something. What are you guys doing? And give me a sand test too while you're at it. So this is Patrick, Marie, and Shima. All right.
Got a 12, so I passed.
Okay, you're good to go.
20 passed.
Good to go.
28 pass.
All right, you're all fine. You're all. It's sort of a kind of a shocking, quick scene, but maybe you were prepared for it. As maybe Johnny kind of prepared, so it wasn't as shocking as it might have been to somebody who was unprepared. What are the three of you doing while you're in here?
It is super unsettling. So Shama is reflexively slipping her hand in her pocket and slipping those bra songs on.
Sure. About Marie and Patrick.
I believe that you mentioned there was a woman in the corner that was sort of singing to herself. Did I get that right?
She's kind of cackling every so often. The singing is coming from what you think is a record player. And when you look behind the man who is by the easel, there is a record player on a shelf behind him. He's kind of at an angle to you, so you can only kind of partially see the canvas, but you can also see behind him there is a record player going, and that's where the singing is coming from.
Okay. I think maybe she might try to kind of go over to the woman in the corner and just see if she can kind of match her vibe a little bit and just kind of just see what can come from kind of being around this woman.
So as you head over in the direction of the corner, this dark corner, there's not a lot of light in the room. There's a little bit still peeking through. There's no lamp or lantern on. So it's really just the daytime light sneaking in through the coated, caked windows, and the curtains are partially drawn. But when you head over there, you notice Marie, that she is sitting on the ground. The only thing she's wearing is that brassiere, which covers only one half of her breasts. And the rest of her, like from face down the side into her belly, you can tell it has this various stages of dried bits of clay. And then you see in front of her, there's these mounds of clay that are partially still wet, some still dry. And you notice immediately that she seems to be kind of like making shapes that look a little bit disturbing, actually, Marie, as it almost looks at one point like one is like this tongue that sort of loops around, and then the very tip of the tongue opens up into like a phallus, and then you see along the route of the tongue there are all these kind of little moments of spikes coming out. You're not sure if it's just like the dryness of the clay, but each time she just sort of runs her hand across it, and she just and she kind of laughs as she does so. You also smell a mossy, pungent odor. And you notice that next to her, on the ground, in the middle of this little kind of wicker basket, there are a couple of small vials of a kind of cloudy-looking liquid.
And so Marie will just kind of laugh along with her and just, kind of like gesture kind of towards the kind of clay object that she's working on, that you're very artistic. Very artistic. And so while she's saying that and pointing over here, she wants to see if she can grab one of those vials and kind of see if there's like, just pocket it basically to look at later.
Okay. Roll a oh my goodness. Roll sleight of hand, probably, I think.
That I have a 10 at. Can I get a little bonus? Because she's like, hi.
No. In fact, it's actually going to be contested. Yeah.
Understood. I will. We were gifted some things from the audience, so I'm going to try to make this at least a 30% that I'm rolling under.
Yeah. It is contested, just remember. So it's going to be degrees of success are going to be impacted here.
Yeah. We will see how this will go. So I'm rolling under 30. Shit. That is a 62 over 30.
You sneak around, you reach down and try to quietly grab one of these vials. And with reaction speeds that you did not think possible, her clay-covered hand reaches out, grabs your wrist right as it's hovering over top of one of the vials. And she turns up to you, and you can see her eyes are like pupils dilated. You can see her face is covered in sweat on one side, covered in clay on the other. You can see there's a little bit of blood around her mouth as well. And she kind of pulls you closer, and she just says, "If you wanted a taste, you just had to ask." And then she reaches down with her other hand and grabs one of the vials, and with her teeth that you now see, like the gums are kind of also a little bleeding. She had pops the cork off, and she and then brings it to her lips and takes a very small sip, and then she gestures to you with it.
So Marie will see if she can pull off a second attempt at a sleight of hand. She does want to smell it because she does want to try to get a good scent of the ingredients. But she wants to try to pass off as if she is doing the same, but not. Okay.
Scent doesn't require a roll. It has a mossy, pungent smell. So it definitely has that to it. It doesn't smell, you don't feel like, it's not making you want to vomit, but there is this natural mossy odor to it, but it's very pungent. And it is not mild in the least. And once again, yes, you could try to sleight of hand a fake drink, sip of it, but it will be again contested.
Okay.
Is this all happening with Marie's back to us, or am I able to see what's happening?
I feel like I kind of went into the corner a bit.
Okay.
So to be fair, it's not well lit, and I'm off in the corner. So
fair enough.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to take another 2. So I'm trying to roll under 30 again. Okay, so that's a 45. So I'll spend the 15 to get it down to 30.
Okay.
For whatever it's worth, Sharma is trained on Marie right now. Like, there is nothing that you are doing that is escaping her.
Okay. I would say roll a spot hidden, and we'll see if that's true. If you want to, Shaima.
I would love to.
It is a fairly dark room, and Marie did move into the corner.
That's fair. Marie is very important to Sharma, and it's...
All right.
I thought I just rolled, but...
Yeah, you did. 53.
You did 53 under 78.
Yeah, you can generally see that she is just kind of interacting with the woman. Nothing terrible has happened. She hasn't been attacked or anything like that.
Yep.
So regular success, Marie?
Yeah, I just got it to so she's kind of trying to, kind of cover with her hand a little bit as she...
You feel a shudder go through the woman's body, and you can feel it kind of cascade from her arm into your wrist. And then when her eyes open, like there's this sudden clarity, and she looks at you and she says, now, don't be afraid. And then she lets go of your wrist, and she kind of runs that hand just down the side of your face in this very, very sensual attempt. It won't harm you, and you'll feel so good. I promise.
I can tell that it appears that you are just so inspired. with this art that you're doing? And she kind of tries to turn her attention back to sort of the clay and what she's creating and like that. Right. That's just so interesting right there. Just tell me about that.
She stands and doesn't even react to your questioning. And just like she stands in front of you. And again, she's just continuing to kind of rub her hand. And like she's just sort of getting very, very handsy with you now. And she leans in and takes a big whiff. And then just starts to just kind of peck your cheeks a little bit.
And Marie will just sort of kind of pat her on the shoulder and just, well, there are a few other folks here that I think I would like to have a conversation with. Won't take you away from your art any longer. And she'll kind of
okay. And she will,
back.
As you separate, she will not push any further. She's holding on to the vial, though. Since you didn't actually take a sip, she's probably like still hanging on to it at this point. And then she will waltz over, kind of lumbering in the direction of Patrick. And you can see as she comes towards you, Patrick, it's kind of this, you can see her kind of almost like rubbing her hand over her own body as she approaches you. But let me give you and Shaima a chance. What have you been doing while Marie is having this interaction?
Yeah, I wanted to move in further, maybe follow the tracks of Johnny, watching where I step, looking around, see what I can find.
So I'll say then, as you do so, as you try to push into the deeper recesses, like her hand will grab yours as you walk past. And she's just like, here, pretty boy, come, have a taste. And she, with a surprisingly strong grip, kind of tries to, she slows you. You very easily could break away, but you can feel that she has like put her hand around you. And she is trying to, with one hand, grab you, and with the other hand now, she is like holding up this vial.
Have a taste of what exactly?
Oh, just pure, unadulterated pleasure. Doesn't that sound divine?
That sounds quite wonderful, actually, but maybe later.
You sure? Just have
I'll
a
be
little
back in just a
taste
moment.
now. Your loss. As she lets go, and you continue to push deeper into the apartment. And we'll go to Shaima. What have you been doing? You've seen both of these interactions.
Yeah, this is very disturbing for like there is nothing about this that is comfortable or funny or fucking anything.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of standing there and just like watching the two of them and just waiting to take a swing. She's there's nothing passive about her having watched Marie. Like she is watching her like a fucking hawk. And as soon as this woman walks over Patrick, her gaze switches to watching Patrick. And she is just waiting to have to crack someone over the head.
And both times, as like she gets handsy with each one of them, but then maybe like that's like the hand starts to come out of your pocket, but then she lets go and it slowly goes back in. So like there are a couple like almost false starts. But as Patrick goes past, she turns and she starts walking in your direction now. And you can see she's sort of lumbering. And again, like one hand gripping onto the vial, the other hand you can see is just sort of, she's just almost kind of groping herself in some ways. And she's like, what about you, sweet bird? Do you want a taste? You look like you know how to have fun. And she just continues to move across the room. And as she does so, she kind of steps onto that Persian rug. And you can see the two that are on the ground, the Hispanic woman in the torn robe, the Caucasian man with the camera, both of them kind of just reach up towards her and just kind of grab her leg, her calf, but they don't grab it to trip her. They're just kind of reaching up And she's just like, shh, in a moment, sweeties. In a moment. We've got someone new. And this woman steps right up in front of you, Shima. And at no point is she like moving quickly, but she does invade your personal space. And she's just, well, aren't you just a pretty, pretty thing? I've never seen anything quite like you. What say you? And she like holds the vial up almost directly to your lips. It's sweet and it's lovely all the same. Come see what I see. And then she like shudders again. Come feel what I feel.
Shema remembers the advice from Osmo 12 hours ago and sort of straightens up to her full height and looks down at this woman. No.
She just sighs. And then she turns back around and crawls down, and like her clay covered ass right up in your face as she, and I say that not as a joke, it literally is, as she crawls down onto the rug. And you can see the woman with the torn robe rolls over and the robe kind of falls off, and you can see she has nothing on underneath. The man moves the camera off of his lap, and you can see his clothes, like the little that he has, are kind of in like these shreds. And she starts sharing that vial, and both of them take a sip, and then the three of them in this sort of nest right in the center of the room just begin kind of grabbing each other, kissing each other, groping each other, and then all three of them do it, and it's just this kind of, it's not doesn't look good. They're messy, they're covered in ink and grime. There's like, it's an intimate act, but at the same time it's not titillating. It's uncomfortable. But they proceed shamelessly, it seems, with no concern at the fact that there are random people in the room.
Shema is actively looking away because she is kind of a prude.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Marie,
she's not really looking.
So Shima, you're looking away, maybe back towards the door.
Yeah.
Marie, what are you doing before I check in with Patrick?
So if I wanted to double check that I heard your description earlier. So she has a vial. Does that mean that there are other unattended vials now back in the corner that she left? Were there multiple vials, so that maybe there's one, like she had one in her hand, but there were other ones that were in the corner that she's left behind?
You look at the basket, and you can tell that in addition to the one that she has, there are a total of 4 vials here. And of them, the one that she had has liquid. 2 of them are empty, but you are lucky one of them has that pungent looking cloudy liquid inside of it. And all of them are like small, maybe the size, maybe about 4 or 5 inches in length, these vials with little cork stoppers at the ends. Oh, but yes, there is one there.
Okay. So while they're otherwise occupied, I can grab one of the vials then?
Also,
yes,
is the
you
camera that the man was holding unattended?
Yes, it is unattended now. Yeah. It does mean you have to get down towards that thing on the rug.
Yeah.
It is unattended, yes.
I'd like to make an attempt to like quickly try and grab that and then like just exit the room and stand right outside the door. If
sure. I think you could do this a couple different ways. Ultimately, I think you can just do this with if you're just trying to grab it and go, just take a dex. Yeah, just give me a dex roll.
Can I take 2 audience boosts because I really want to succeed on this?
Sure.
Got it.
Thanks. Oh shit! I didn't even need it. Amazing.
You were good anyway.
53
Yeah, you're good
under
to go.
80.
Perfect. So you're able to quickly lean down, grab it. You can see at one point as you grab it, the man who is holding it kind of rolls over and looks at you, and like with an arm, like he's kind of outstretched, like he's offering it to you to join. But you grab the camera and you move, and it doesn't seem he cares at that point, as one of the women just reaches back and like grabs a tuft of his hair tightly and kind of pulls him back into that writhing mass. And you're able to grab it, and you are now back outside in the alley. Is that right?
But no, just outside this room, just outside the door.
Just like in like the foyer kind of deal.
Yeah, just outside this door.
Okay. So then,
idea being that I can still keep an eye on the two of them while not being in the room.
Gotcha. So then let's check in with Patrick. Patrick, you try to catch up with Johnny, and you notice that there is a set of stairs in here that go up, but you notice that the second level seems to have collapsed onto the first, and you can see he's kind of stomping over what looks like some debris, and he looks at you. He's like, I heard something back here. If you want to come.
Y'all follow the path he broke out.
And so he's pushing past. He's lifting up this different debris, and what you see as you push back is there is a room that looks like it once was a kitchen. There's a sink. There looks to be a countertop with, there's some pots and pans and things. You're not sure that anyone's actually used this as a kitchen recently, but you can see that there is a man in the room who has hopped up on one of the countertops near a window, and he is in the corner, just leaning back. You can see he's got a cigarette hanging out of his body, hanging out of his mouth. And he's got all sorts of scars on him, like tons of them, bruises, cuts, etc. And he is just kind of sitting there. His eyes are closed, and you see his head is kind of just drifting. You can barely still hear the music playing in here, and you can tell it kind of shifts and moves with it a little bit, but otherwise, when you step in, he doesn't seem to immediately react to you as you're on the opposite side. He's like, just bash this one in if you want. You want to do it? Like, I'll let you, after you. New recruit, you know?
How about you show me the first one? They're all high as a kite. You ever take this stuff?
Me? No, Mr. Okone says we can't. There was this one guy I knew who worked for the family who, he didn't listen to that one rule. And now he doesn't work for the family no more. You understand?
You're just bashing all the users, so the suppliers can't give them anymore. So
yeah, sometimes. Places like this, we can get away with it. But it ain't always places like this. Sometimes it's like, some unhappy housewife of some rich film producer or something. Sometimes it's the actresses themselves, Miss Clarendon and Miss McAvoy, some of the folks that they work with every now and then. But you can't really get away with bashing them in, So
I'll leave it to the professional. You got this.
Yeah. All right. And he's like, cracks his... Oh, I actually got a crack. As he cracks his neck. And you watch as he goes stomping across. You could hear the crack of like he's walking across broken glass. And he's like, all right, you son of a bitch. And he goes to swing. And he misses. And you can see the guy who goes to swing at just ever so slightly shifts to the side. And Stompy's big old fist goes smashing into the wall, and you can see a chunk of plaster now, a hole. It's like, you fucking son of a bitch. But before he's able to swing the second one, the guy who was smoking a cigarette picks up a pan and smacks Stompy right across the head. Let's see if it actually hits. It does, in fact, actually hit, and you can see he goes, "Whoa!" One of his teeth goes flying out. You fool! Whoa! And he goes stumbling back. Your turn, Patrick. What do you do?
Disarm him, hold him still.
Okay. So as you want to run up and disarm him, this is going to be a brawl test.
All right.
Go ahead and make that brawl roll. I will roll for myself to fight back.
15 brawl, not too bad.
All right. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
That's 20.
You are
hard
successful.
success.
Yeah, the hard success. I only had a regular. So your hard success will beat me. As you come running up, and as you do, you hear him say, like, "Now we're fucking talking. I'm gonna fucking kill you." And you rush up, and you, as he's about to just smash the pan down on Stompy's head once more, you manage to grab it, and his arm like pushes you down. This almost like absurd strength for a moment, and you're able to just slam it against the countertop, and the pan goes stumbling. So you managed to disarm. That was your intent. You do notice that he is just full of this sudden violence, right? And he's kind of powering against you. And if Stompy, we're going to say it's his turn now, he comes back, spits out a chunk of blood, and he's like scrambling around. And there's this rusty knife, and so he's like, "Oh, you fucking want to play like that?" And so he picks up this rusty knife and he tries to stab the guy with it. God dang, Johnny's not looking good. Good thing Shima's not around. As he stabs at the guy, and he still manages to shift, and he stabs right into wall once more. And then the man's going to try to, this time he's going to swing at you, Patrick. So you can roll dodge, you can roll melee to fight back. What do you prefer? He's just going to try to punch you.
Yeah, let me double check my dodge. I'll fight back with melee.
All right, go for it. Remember, you have to. Ooh. Sorry, I saw a lolly.
Uh-oh.
Lagging a bit, but I did roll it.
Okay. So you say.
Yeah, I don't see something up. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, no
Yeah.
good on me. 87.
Okay. That is going to be not a critical success. It's going to be extreme success for me. You are going to take. Roll my damage. You're going to take 3 points of damage as you knock the one pot out of his hand, but with his other arm, he just, with what you realize now are almost like sharpened fingernails, he just scrapes it right across your face, and you have these little scratches now. And he lunges and he's like trying to bite you. "No, we're fucking talking. I can feel it now. I can feel it now." As he's just screaming at you. Your turn, Patrick.
Take the frying pan. Just whack him across the face with it. With my 50
Whack.
brawl.
With
50
the
brawl.
fire pan.
He's fighting back, of course. Okay. Success versus success. He would need to have beaten you since he was fighting back, so you do get a hit off. Go ahead and roll some damage.
What is the damage on a frying pan?
Just call it a D4.
All right.
Can I
That's what
hear
I
any
rolled.
of this commotion down the hall?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a listen test in a sec.
Nice little one.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
All right, so you take 1 point of damage. Marie and Shima, you can go ahead and roll a listen test at this point.
Awesome.
Listen. Okay. 50-50.
Same.
So Marie got a 25 under 50, so a hard success.
Okay.
Got a 53 over 50, and I'll spend the luck
Spend the
to
luck.
make it a success.
Both of you can hear there's a scuffle, and you hear someone shouting from deeper into the building. What do you want to do?
Okay. And Shima, you got the camera, right? Last time?
Yes, I'll put her down and tell Marie, wait here, and I'm gonna run.
And Marie's going to grab the camera, look at what's going on in the rest of the room, shake her
Yeah.
head, and she's going to follow
Three people.
Shima.
Yeah, there are 3 people on the floor writhing. A man by the record player in the canvas that is trying to make out with his painting, and then you You pick it up and you run. Okay.
Yep.
The two of you get there after the second round is completed. We'll go into a third round now. And Stompy will attempt to stab the guy once more. I have rolled 70 or over on every single one of Stompy's attacks. And so a third one happens. He tries to stab once more, misses again. Then I think the guy is going to attack. He's going to attack again. He's going to attack Patrick as he tries to leap onto you, basically biting at you now. Go ahead and you can roll however you want to roll.
Yeah, I'll try to shove this frying pan in his mouth.
There you go. That's what I like to hear.
39 this time, success.
I will tell you that is not going to be enough unless you spend luck to make that a hard success.
Let's see.
So you would need to spend 14.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and spend the 14.
Okay, go ahead and roll your damage, as that will be enough as he lunges out with these teeth that you realize some of which have been like artificially sharpened, like he's trying to bite you, and you're going to hold up the that instead and just kind of like with two hands pop him right in the face as he lunges at you.
Got a 4 this time.
It hits him and he stumbles back, and you see he kind of falls and slides down the countertop and nearly falls to the ground completely, but he stands up. And when he does, all of you now that have come into the room, Marie and Shima, you can see that he, again, scars, bites, cuts, bruises. One of his eyes is effectively like, is essentially closed from it. This is a guy you can tell has probably been in some fights, and he seems to be well within. And he's like almost foaming at the mouth as he just screams. And you can tell that there's, much like those in the front room were like almost ecstatic, and like he is just like this strange, deranged like moment of joy as he's trying to like bite and claw at Patrick. Shima or Marie, either you can go. We don't have to worry about exact order. Which one do you want? Which one do you want to do something?
Instinctively lunges at him with the frost knuckles.
Go right ahead as you come charging in. He'll fight back.
Is that a brawl?
It's going to be a brawl. He's going to have a penalty die because this is the second time he's had to do it. Okay.
62.
Okay, you're going to need to spend luck to make that a hard success. If you want. So that's going to be, you need to get down to like 43, so maybe 20, 19 or 20, I think.
I'm happy to do that.
Okay, and then roll your damage for your brass knuckles as you come sliding through and pushing past Patrick and Johnny.
Lots and lots of luck getting spent.
Yeah, got to do this now.
Oh,
go ahead and just click that roll damage button right there.
Well.
So you're still using your are you using your brass knuckles?
Yeah,
D3,
yeah. It's
total damage of 8. There you go. Okay.
Sorry.
All right, no worries. You come through just as he's kind of stumbling back and trying to regain his footing after Patrick knocked him back. And it looks as though he sees you, but he slips, and you're able to, with this brass knuckles, just get a perfect shot right into his face. His nose, you feel a crunch of his nose as your knuckles like make contact, and he goes flying back onto the countertop, unconscious.
Jesus, Johnny, you said this was going to be easy.
It's going to be pretty fucking easy now. And he reaches back the knife. And unless anyone stops him, he's about to stab this guy.
7 turns.
Okay.
Stop him, but doesn't want.
He stabs. Both of you roll sanity tests as this guy as Johnny just viciously stabs the guy in the chest like 3 or 4 times.
I'm going to say Marie followed Shima in, so she would roll too.
Okay. All 3 of you roll some sand tests then, as you see him the guy is unconscious and he just literally just stabs him.
Oh crap.
Under
Marie rolled a 99.
99. Okay.
Holy shit. Is that a crit?
No, not in that. That would have, I think she needs to roll
good.
100 for that to happen. Okay, so I'll say Patrick, you're okay. Sissy May and Shima, both of you take a point of sand as this man just gets stabbed as he's unconscious. And you guys are all standing there in the middle of this beaten down, dilapidated kitchen with a man with multiple stab wounds in his chest, a rusty, bloody knife in the hands of Johnny. There is sounds of ecstasy coming from the other room, coupled with the backdrop of that Mexican guitar. And we're going to cut from that scene. And we're going to check in with Pastor Wood and Beverly Key, who were going to investigate something equally sexy. Auction services. So what you guys would know exactly where to go, as you would have been able, it's in the same building, in fact, as Abraham Buchwald, is that there is a magnificent villa auction services. So that's effectively where you guys would want to go if you wanted to head to the headquarters, unless there was something else that some other way that you wanted to do this.
I'm all for that. I do imagine that there would be a little moment with Pastor Wood trying to get Dr. Key to go in and buy a gun for him because Pastor Wood does not look good right now. And he would be very specific. Now, Dr. Key, I need a Smith & Wesson 44 hand ejector, first model, new century. Right? It's a double action revolver. It's got a third locking lug on the cylinder. That's important. It's commonly called the triple lock. Do you got that? Now, the third model is acceptable if they don't have the first, but do not, under any circumstances, buy the second model. It doesn't have the ejector shroud.
Right.
I'm going to write it down.
Wow. Mansplaining 1936 Pastor Wood. As if we didn't like him enough. Okay. We will say after a very uncomfortable and condescending conversation. Beverly,
is it
do
fair
you
to
in
say
fact buy
that?
him?
Is it fair to say that I had the assets in like my suitcase or something? Like, because I had cash.
Yeah, you lost your cash
enough to cover it.
Yeah, you basically
I would have
lost all
lost
your
all
stuff.
of that cash.
You would have lost anything you would have had on you. So your spending level, which would have been like $10. So you wouldn't have had $80 on you probably, but your cash probably would have. So you could probably dip into that if you want to.
That's what I was asking. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it should be about $30.
Okay. So you can do that and deplete your cash a little bit. You don't have to go all the way into your assets though. Okay. So you stop before heading out to the dangerous auction services location and get a gun. And then you drive back downtown to the white collar business offices. You go to the same building where earlier in the week, Beverly and I think Patrick had visited Abraham Buchwald. You can even see as you come into the lobby of the building, you can see the directory hanging on the wall. You can see Abraham Buchwald's offices, a couple other accountants and various other white collar financial like businesses. And you do in fact see on the second floor, magnificent villa auction services. And that is that. Is there anything you are doing before you head inside?
I think maybe we're all kind of on edge to an extent. So maybe just keeping an eye out to see if there's anyone else really paying close attention to us as we head into the auction house.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a spot hidden there, Beverly. And you can do the same thing if you want, Pastor Wood.
29 under 45.
Very nice, very nice.
Nice.
22 under 85. 88, sorry.
This guy.
Topper.
Topper, mansplainer, murderer. What's not to like? So
Self-defensor.
I will say that at no point, Beverly, do you get this sense you're being followed or looked at in a way that suggests suspicion.
Okay.
However, when you do go into the lobby of this building, there are some people who do look a little sideways at Pastor Wood, as he does not look good right now, as he's been beaten up and he's been and they kind of eye him. Not in the sense that like they're doing anything about it, but you can see that a few look and likely are gossiping here and there. Pastor Wood, you notice the same things. Out on the street, you did catch a stray police vehicle or two. None seem to sort of do the slow down and look at you, however. So it might just be standard police patrols, nothing more than that. Didn't seem to give you the same vibe as some other situations. And that's what the two of you notice.
Okay, so maybe not. Some more discretion between the two of us. Some space, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying I smell bad?
No, but you are attracting quite a bit of attention.
I was worried. I feel like I do smell bad. And I look at where I was bit before, where the pus was.
You,
Sense.
yeah, you still have wounds and such. And you do smell, like, as you kind of smell your clothes a little bit maybe, or just like hold up a collar, or you look at the wounds, there's a fairly pungent odor. There's a certain must that is unfamiliar to you. Like, you kind of know how you smell. This doesn't smell like you. There is this hard to avoid smell. It almost smells like mildewy or mossy in your nose, and you just can't seem to get it out of there.
When I'm looking at him, are his eyes dilated? Because I did see track marks. So am I seeing other?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Nope.
Yeah, then Bev's heading right on in. She's got shit to do.
Okay. You head inside, and it is a fairly benign-looking office. It has a handful of desks, a fairly open lobby. You can see that there appear to be some conference rooms and offices through glass walls, but there's like these little blinds and such that seem to give some level of privacy. There look to be maybe about half a dozen people working around in various places. But as you come inside, there is a woman, maybe in her 40s or so, kind of blonde hair, late 40s, maybe early 50s. Blonde hair, looks very librarian-like as she stands up and she's like, "What can I do for you, young lady? Is there something I can help you with?"
Yes, I was hoping to follow up on a previous auction that you guys held. See if you had any remaining items left behind, or if I could reach out to anyone regarding some objects that were purchased.
Oh, well, I think I can help you with that, certainly. Do you remember the name of the auction and around the date of that auction?
And she would, it was for the Echeverria estate, and it was in 1924.
1924? Oh, well, it's been quite some time. The likelihood of, I can tell you with certainty that we wouldn't have any more of those items. They would have long passed from our possessions. But I could see we do have some records on where they might have been sold off to, if that would help you.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Of course.
I, definitely, I've been looking for some of these for a while now.
Okay. And you can tell, like, she seems to be responding pretty well to you. And I'll tell you that mainly it's because you look professional. But then Pastor Wood comes in, and she looks over in his direction. Sir, do you have the right place? If you're looking for legal assistance, it's the 3rd floor.
I kind of give an awkward look to Dr. Key because she told me to like keep some distance, but we didn't really plan like what I would be doing. So I was just like 5 steps behind her, like waiting in line. Yes,
she
ma'am.
just kind
I
of
was,
shakes her head at you.
the shaking the head just kind of makes me pause, and then I look back at the clerk. I was curious if there was any, if I could look up records of the Echeverria estate.
And she looks over to you, Beverly. She looks back to Pastor Wood. Are you two together? And she almost has a look on her face, Beverly, when she looks at you, that is pleading and hoping you say no.
And Beverly does kind of like look at him and are you also trying to, that's bizarre. Are you also trying to follow up on the books of the estate?
Oh, why, yes, I am. Oh, what a coincidence. You are as well.
I can tell you, I will outbid you when I'm speaking with whoever this is sold to. And she turns back to the lady and like kind of like draws her.
I need you guys to roll some fast talk here. This is some bullshit. One of you can roll it and take a bonus. Well, who's got the worst fast talk between the two?
Ashley, I'm taking you down with me. I have 5 fast talk, so I feel like I was role playing this well.
You both have 5. One of you can roll it, and I will say take a bonus die, as there's 2 of you kind of working together. Ashley.
Oh, you can hit it if you want. I don't care.
No, I don't want to. I want to save my luck.
Fair.
How much luck do you have?
35. I rolled a 1 today.
Oh my goodness. But you were sitting high for a really long time.
4.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, look at you.
Nice.
Just 4.
Can I pay whatever I need you to get it down to a hard or extreme success?
Yeah, just spend 3 to get a crit, I think. Yeah, just spend 3 luck.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it should be. If you expand it, it should tell you what you need to spend. Spend 3 luck to get an extreme. You might not be able to spend luck to get a crit. So just 3.
3.
So I see. Well, as I was saying to the young lady here, sir, and you can tell that she has a bit of an attitude towards Pastor Wood. We are unlikely to have any of the items of an auction that took place 12 years ago. And knowing that Mr. Echeverria was a well-known philanthropist with a extensive collection, as she's kind of like flipping through some of her old records, I am certain someone of your status would be unlikely to afford them. So I would not want to waste any of your time. Madam, you're more than welcome to have a seat. Could I get you some coffee?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And
absolutely. That's okay, ma'am. You're not wasting my time. And I go sit down next to Beverly.
Well then, one moment. And she steps away. She comes back a few minutes later with 2 cups of coffee. One that she gives to Beverly, one that she keeps for herself. And with her is a man in his 50s, kind of graying hair. And, Mister, can I help you? It seems as though Miss Bracken is already tending to a client. I don't think that she should have to tend to 2 at once. And respectfully, she has told me that you have been surly. And I would appreciate if you did not harass our employees.
Well, I do apologize if I've come across as surly, ma'am. I had no intention of being that way. I did not mean to harass you. I sincerely apologize.
Nevertheless, as he kind of starts speaking now, you can see she just kind of looks away. Nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and sit in on this conversation to ensure that you demonstrate more manners throughout the rest of this conversation. Is that understood, sir?
Of course. More the merrier.
He drags a seat over from a nearby desk and sits down. And now, go ahead, Lynn. Just tell these folks what it is that you found. And she starts going through. She pulls out a couple binders and kind of goes through some books and things. And it's all taking a few minutes. And the whole time, this man is just eyeing Pastor Wood down. Mm-hmm. Right? And the woman every now and then is making small talk. It's like, is coffee okay? Is everything all right? And want any more sugar?
No, it's perfect. Thank you.
And eventually she's like, oh, here we go. Ramon Echeverria. Here we go. 1924. And she pulls out like a binder. And here we go. And she starts flipping through it. And and she says that, well, this is not too difficult. I could, if you'd like, you can take a moment to peruse it for yourself. And she opens up the binder and kind of turns it around, slides it in your direction, Beverly.
Yeah, and she will do so.
Give me a library use roll. Let's get another roll in.
Sure.
As you start flipping through, reading through, it's all very complicated change of ownership documentation, inventory lists, things like that.
18 under 87.
You're on fire, Ashley.
You're doing fantastic because you are going to get certain information no matter what, but the better you do in a roll, you might get some extra things. So a couple things you notice, first of all, is that there appears to be a list here of like most of the estate, it seems, of Echeveria's estate seems to focus on his very robust library. Everything in terms of other physical items like furniture and things like that was sold and then donated to charity. The exception is his library. And you can tell that there is a very detailed list of the titles of these books. And it looks as though almost every book of any individual worth, and there is this you can tell a third party, just rare books expert who did kind of an evaluation, right? An appraisal. All of those were, almost all of them were sold to Samson Trammell of Pasadena, name you would recognize. There is an exception though, and it actually catches your attention, as there is a single lot of books that was purchased by UCLA College, and the care of Hamish McDunn of the history department. Now, there is a list of these titles.
Okay.
The specific list of books that UCLA purchased: Cults of the Axumite Empire, Fishing the River of Stars, Rift of the Maw, Unos Sprechlichen Kulten, and Ziggurats of the pre-Helladic period. Then there is also a list of books that the Echeverria library that went over to Trammell: Adrift in a Storm-Tossed Sky, Azathoth and Other Horrors, The Broken Ouroboros of Atu. I'll give you guys a list. Don't worry about trying to write them all down.
Thank you.
Children of the Night and Nawa Legends, Collected Sermons of the Floated Tongue. Hang on. Let me scroll. What was that? Okay. The Cradle in the Ocean. Fragments of Baal Sagoth. The Gaze of Azathoth. Geheimes Mysterium von Asien. The Last of the First. The Ends of Occult Dynasties. Lights in My Eyes, Wisdom and Lunacy in the 20th Century. Lights in Their Eyes, Wisdom and Lunacy 1840 to 1899. Princes of the Darkest Hour, Seeds of Forbidden Fruit, Seven Masks, The Temple of Fertiania, and The Womb of the Black Stone. I will give you titles to all of these, don't worry. But you can read through all of them. Yeah.
Fishing in the River of Stars. Oh, wasn't that a book hinted that we had gotten earlier? Or something that we had read in reference to Golgoroth?
No.
Okay.
There was a... That is not... Like, you don't... That name... The title of the book wouldn't have come up, but there was a...
We knew something about Golgoroth being related
so there was,
to some...
When you spoke with Edgar Job, he explained, this is all information you already had, so I have no problem going back over it. Job from Savannah explained that in 1924, the cult was trying to summon an entity known as Golgoroth, or the Thing with 1,000 Mouths, or the Fisher from Outside.
Okay.
Those were named, and he made a quip that, like, entities like this that are this old, they have tons of names, and he just kind of joked about it. And so that's where you might be thinking of when it comes to a Fisher.
Got it. Okay. I still think that might catch her eye, especially knowing that Hamish McDunn has it, and she was one of the people who spoke with him.
Absolutely.
So she kind of just puts that in the back of her mind, and she does inquire, is it okay if I make some notes? Is that acceptable?
Oh, go right ahead, man. That's fine.
She'll do so. So Samson Trammell seems to have purchased quite a large portion of these. Do you know, is he also a philanthropist like Echeverria was?
Let me see what she might know. Give me like a persuade test. Yeah, give me a persuade test to see if she's willing to like engage in such kind of gossip. Oh, it could be charm too. It'd probably be fine. Either one of those is okay.
Okay. Charm is just
wee bit better.
I'm a talky person. So this is great.
I am, but she doesn't like me, so.
She does not. I mean, can you blame
29
her?
under 35.
Wow.
Okay.
Just a regular success.
You were killing it on
You are
rolls.
rolling really, really well. Yeah.
Right?
Okay. She will say, well, if he is, I believe his philanthropic investments and donations are probably less public than Mr. Estreveria's were, and he is not, in fact, a client of ours, so I don't know a great deal about it. I do know, I have heard, of course, that he very successful businessman. I believe he's potentially a real estate entrepreneur, perhaps. Beyond that, I can't say anything. And you can tell that she's not lying. It's just just limited info. Yeah.
And once she has that, she's Beverly is going to cut this meeting. Thank you so much for your assistance today. I appreciate all the hard work that you've put in for me. And I will be following up with Mr. Trammell. Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. You have a wonderful day, man.
Thank you kindly, man.
And you, sir. And then she leans forward and she whispers to you, Pastor Wood, sir, you smell abhorrent. You should bathe.
Well, I do apologize. I'm sorry, ma'am. I had a shower this morning, but I'll take another one.
I think that would be wise.
And while they had this conversation, Beverly is just waiting outside of the building at this point for him to come out.
So we're going to cut from there so you two can talk, Discord or whatever, figure out what you want to do next. And we will cut back to our nectar den folk, who last we saw, the three of you were in this rundown kitchen. This man just got stabbed a bunch of times by Johnny Stompanato. And you all are here. He's on the ground. You can see the guy's not fully dead. You can tell he's like on the verge of death, but you can still see his chest kind of moving, but he's probably not long for this world. What did the three of you want to do?
It's all right. Kill him, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's basically dead, you know.
No, but like, isn't he like suffering?
Oh yeah. You're right. And he leans down. Hey, Patrick, can you make a look away? You didn't need to see this part.
I'm gonna look away.
Yeah, sorry, man. Let's look over here.
And he just right across the throat. Yeah, there we go. All right, it's good. Everything's all tied up. No problem. Anyhow.
So did you know the man?
Did I know this guy? I know him because he tried to fucking kill you and me. And yeah, that's how I know him.
Yeah, man. I'll see what's in the room, in this kitchen. See what's he's stashing, maybe.
Yeah, you can go ahead and roll spot hidden, sure. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, give us a spot in. And anybody else in the room, I suppose.
Oh
could
god, I
too.
think that's a crit.
That's a
fail
crit.
there. Or fumble.
Oh,
98.
Spot hidden.
Okay.
Sorry, give me
You.
just 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. All right. You guys know how I feel about crit fails. When it happens, I go hard with them. Just so
Hell
we know.
yes.
Yep.
Everyone knows this.
Hell
fumbles are
yes.
fumbles.
I love
Okay.
it.
Just letting you know. Patrick, you are searching, and it's rubble, and there's cabinets, and there's trash everywhere, and you're just moving things around, reaching your hand in, and as you do, and you're kind of trying to go through this sink where there's all sorts of stuff piled up, you suddenly go, ah! And as you pull your hand out, you notice there is a small syringe that is kind of right in the middle of your hand, and it looks to be like half the liquid has already kind of started to leak into your hand a bit. You know, and you already feel like this effect, but it stings like the dickens.
Guys, might not be myself here in a minute.
Oh,
what
Mr.
is
Price,
that?
did you find out? Oh no. Oh goodness. And then Marie will try to tend to him.
Patrick, roll a sand test. Yeah, I think Melissa knew where I was going to go with it. I wouldn't have done it if it was anything but a crit fail.
I passed my
Yeah.
sand.
Okay, take 1 point of sand loss as who knows what's in here, right? And something just got injected, and it looks like whatever this guy's stash was just got injected in you. And you very quickly feel a wash of pleasure just begin to start sweeping, and it starts to stir up from your groin. You can feel this very comfortable and very appealing warmth that just starts to venture up across your abdomen, and it kind of starts to send tendrils out into your arms and into your legs, and you start hearing in your mind this melody that's just moving about, and this sudden smell of fragrant flowers starts to waft, and it just smells amazing. Your tongue, you start moving it around as it just explodes in this sense of taste that you weren't even eating anything, but you can just feel this immense warmth. Your muscles begin to just sort of relax and then contract and then relax and then contract. And then this rippling continues to start pushing forward and back and waving through you. Everything about you just starts to relax. And as Marie reaches forward and tries to grab the syringe and the syringe, or I should say, out of your hand and help you, you just feel this sudden carnal urge in Marie's direction, and you just feel like your hand, and maybe you're seeing in your mind Anna. You can say no to this, of course, but maybe you're seeing that, or maybe whatever it might be. But your hand just kind of goes out, and Marie, you can feel on your cheek this very overly friendly touch by Patrick.
Oh, don't you guys feel wonderful? My slow's maybe sliding off a little bit.
And so Patrick, that there was a little bit left as well. And Marie's right here. And wouldn't it be wonderful if Marie could feel the wonderful things that you're feeling too? Doesn't mean you're going to attack her, but you want her to have it, right?
It's right here, so I'll offer it like the lady did earlier.
Yeah.
Yes,
right
I'm trying to. Yes, I'm trying to get it out of. Yes, and she's kind of grabbed her handkerchief, and she's kind of pulling it out of her finger. Okay.
Right there, if you want to hand it to her.
Don't mind me. I feel wonderful. I'm fine.
Yes, and there is a chair here that is going to feel fantastic as soon as you sit down in it. Let's just get you into this wonderfully comfortable chair right here. Is there like a stool or something that he could sit on in here that Marie can just sort of move him towards?
Sure. There's some busted furniture, like a stool or something. Sure.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, let's get you. And so she's sort of behind him, sort of pushing him like this.
Mhm.
The stool is going to feel so comfortable. You are going to enjoy this stool. And she
The
just
whole
sort
way,
of,
though, Patrick is being fairly handsy, like someone who is just overly affectionate towards you, right? It's like the type of thing, like if you were, it's not indecent to the point that we saw out in the other room,
Right,
but you can
right.
definitely, you're getting that sense that like there has been this sudden drop in any sense of inhibitions. He seems very much not himself.
and I would say Marie would sort of look to Shaima as sort of being sort of like the researcher type, and would just sort of just be saying to her, well, it certainly appears that we have some ample evidence that users of nectar feel decreased inhibitions, increased sexual interest. We are certainly gathering some good data about what this does, as she sort of is continuing to sort of push Patrick towards the chair. And she doesn't seem stressed. So like Shaima wouldn't feel like she necessarily like needs to intervene. Like she's just kind of having a separate conversation with you.
That
and
actually really calms her down.
Let's do what we did earlier. It was
like a
beautiful.
more
Let's do it
academic
again.
approach.
I just start singing along.
Shaima, did you say you approach?
No, I was saying that like Marie's being so like chill, like really calmed Shaima down as well, because she's kind of got her hackles up and like is not seeing this with the same kindness that Marie is. She's kind of waiting for Patrick to lose his shit and for her to have to step in.
And Patrick mentioned singing. And so like Marie will kind of finish what she was saying to Shaima about kind of like, okay, this is what we're seeing with this. And she'll just sort of start humming with Patrick.
As you do so, you kind of hear like a record scratch, kind of, because like there's been this light sound happening in the back. You hear like a little record scratch from the room back towards the front of this building. And then after a few moments, the song comes back as if somebody has retended to it. Patrick, you as Marie continues to sort of deny your advances, like it dawns on you, well, she's a good friend of yours. Wouldn't you want her to feel this just wonderful sense that you're feeling? And you don't know Johnny that well, but he seems like a fairly nice man. Wouldn't you want him to have it too? And so like you just have this intense desire to just share with them this level of like you're very amorous suddenly towards them, and not in a violent way, right? But just, boy, if they could just feel what you feel right now, and if you could just show them what you feel right now. Marie's not interested, and you kind of start to, your interest in her also fades as she denies. But the two of them are just right over there, and you can see that Johnny is going through the pockets of this man, and Shaima is just tensely watching everything that's happening in front of you.
Then I'll press my advances towards those two.
Okay. And so we'll say for fun, you go to Johnny first. He's like, what are you doing? Hey, get off me, man. As you start just kind of like the back of his head a little bit, this and that, and kind of grabbing him here and there. And he's like, come on,
I never noticed how strong you were, Johnny.
Yeah, I know you should be careful, all right? I know you're a friend of Shaima's, but come on, there's a limit, man. Stop it. No, man, I'm not interested. And at that, it's just like, all right, you move on to your next target, so to speak.
And I'll say to John, like I think you got a swinge in him by accident.
Oh,
Johnny, what do we do? Is there something else we can do?
I mean,
is it coffee? Do we just give him coffee? What do we do?
And he's like looking, he's trying to be smart. I mean, it'll go away, I think. I mean, like, it does
How
after a
long?
while.
Do you know how long?
I mean, a few hours a day, something like that, you know? I think, you know, it's his first time, so maybe it'll be a little bit more potent. I don't know. Like, but don't worry, like, most of the time, you just, you know, we find folks like this that just, they're getting all, like, handsy and, you know, I don't mean to be delicate, but they are very intimate, you know? So, like, that's the worst of it, you know?
And
They
Maria
get-
will kind of point to the other room and just say, yes, that. Yes,
Oh, they get started already? Okay.
They did. So can you just make sure he just sits there?
Me?
And she's sort of looking at Johnny because seeing that Patrick was about to circle over to Shaima.
Okay.
Can you just make sure he just sits?
So it just kind of pins him against, like, the wall. Okay, stay. And, like, as much as you want, Patrick, like, this dude's big. Like, Shaima is 6'3". This dude's a little taller than Shaima. Like, he's a big, giant Frankenstein of a man. And he's just kind of holding you against the wall. Stay. Not interested. Down, boy. I do, however, Patrick, need you to roll another sand test.
Okay. I'm passing. I'm 43.
Okay.
Nice.
You're okay. You're right. You're right.
So Marie's going to ask. So Johnny, so you come to these places, you find the people doing the things, you take care of some of them, as she just sort of looks back to the dead body with the slit throat.
Yeah, that was new.
And
They're never really, like, they're not violent, nothing. They usually, it's pretty easy, just come in and conk them over the head. That was new. Never seen anything like that before.
So do you learn anything about where they're getting their supply from, or is this just...
We've tried to question them before, but, like, not too smart, you know? Like, they don't, like, try, hey, Patrick, what's your favorite color? And you're unable to answer in a coherent way. You know, like, you just sort of start going off on this. You see what I mean? They're not the most intelligent folk, you know? So...
Who was that? And Shama's eyes are wide, looking at the dead body. Did they have ID? Do we have to tell someone?
No, it's fine. Like, the cops around here, like, they're not gonna care. They're probably blaming on one of the ones out in the room. So, no, we're good. Don't worry. We're clean. No problem. I don't know who he was, but, you know, it's too late to ask him, I guess.
And Marie will sort of look to see if he had any wallet on him or any markings that look...
Sorry to interrupt. Did you say he had tattoos?
No, he had a lot of scars and bruises covering all over the place.
I'm just remembering the tattooed folk in Savannah.
yeah.
I tell you what, Marie, go ahead and roll a luck test. Yeah.
Okay, my luck is 23 and I rolled a 53.
Well, what's Shima's?
My luck is 70 something.
You can roll into then. That's fine.
You've got a better chance. You rolled a 6 under 76. Oh my gosh.
He's got one thing in his pocket. He has what looks like, but basically looks like some kind of, not so much a business card, but like a crumpled broadside, like an advert. It's not in English. you can see that there's very interesting looking characters that it's not English, it's not it's not Spanish. It certainly looks like, well, who knows, something. Actually, you could roll a test. I guess you can roll a test, Shami. You're a smart person. You're a library kid.
I was gonna ask if a cult will. So,
no, it wouldn't be a cult. It would just be an education test. Give me an education test.
Do you know other languages, Shaima?
No. Also, I don't have education.
Yeah, you do. It's EDU. Everyone does. It's a attribute at the top.
Sorry, I was looking at my skills. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okie
Okay.
Barely find my feet. Apparently.
You don't know what it is. I'll say this: you're unable to recognize it, but you do have. It is a very decorative looking, crumpled up broadside, faded, like it's been in his pocket for quite some time. But beyond that, you're not sure.
I am going to make it a point to say that we should show that to Dr. Key.
Sure.
And at this, Marie will remember that she had rescued the camera from the other room.
Did you set it down, though?
I brought it in here specifically.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
You still have it.
So then she, kind of seeing Shaima looking at that, she would sort of remember the camera and start...
Do you know how to use a camera? Do you have photography as a skill?
No.
Art photography
that's
would be
a specific.
The thing?
Yeah, that's right. An adult degree character that had photography.
Yeah,
but,
you can do. You could do like a int roll, I guess, to see if you can suss out how this thing works. It's not like modern day, just like click, everything's fine.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more complicated.
Once I started the sentence, I was like, "Oh, yeah, right. No, that's not how that works. I'm gonna have to get it."
It's
a 97 over 60. So
you're not really sure how this works.
See if she can put it in a bag or something, because we've definitely looked at pictures before for clues. So she's going to steal the camera.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. All right. Anything else that you want to do in here?
So we definitely have a much better idea of what happens with people that are on nectar. And she'll kind of pull out of her pocket and show that she had a vial of it before kind of Patrick got some. So I have some for whatever benefit this could bring us to have some of it on us. We certainly know what it smells like, and we're learning what its effects are. Shaima, is there anything else that we would glean from remaining on these premises?
No, the sooner we can leave, the better.
Have we looked everywhere in here for any other?
Yeah, there ain't nothing. You can't even get upstairs. I doubt there's anything up there anyway. Mostly it's just down here. It's just the other room, really. I think I don't find any like bedrooms or nothing. So pretty much it. You guys don't mind if I like tie his hands or something? He's getting really handsy with me over here.
Johnny, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's not your fault. Hey, you wanted to come see what I do, so now you see what I do. I mean, it's like, I'm happy to show you a little bit of my life. This is what I do here. I mean, it's not quite this wild and crazy all the time, but
Shaima looks very embarrassed that her very glamorous friend is behaving this way. Like Patrick and Marie are like two of the most glamorous and sophisticated people she knows, and she has no idea how to respond to this.
But I do think, Johnny, we may want to share a little bit of information because it seems that we may have stumbled across some information about nectar that perhaps your employer may have been looking for. So maybe we could put him in the vehicle and we can have a little bit of a
Oh
conversation.
yeah. I'll carry him. No problem. What did y'all learn? Like what did you know?
Well, so you were indicating that there's a Mr. Tremmel and Walker that were
they're in
involved.
charge. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had a few unpleasant run-ins with a Mr. Pisner. Is he someone that's on your radar?
Yeah, we know him. Yeah, he's a sneaky little weasel. Yeah. Yep. What about? Yeah, he's I mean, he's kind of he's a weasel, but like he hurts. He bites. And he gets kind of obsessive, Like once he gets like an idea in his head, he just kind of lets it run. And he's one of those types,
Yes. So about that, in terms of obsession,
I had this friend, this other guy I used to run with, Back in the day, Pisner used to, back before we had the ships, we just had the gambling parlors and stuff, the poker houses, and he fell behind, One of my buddies went to collect on a debt, and then roughed up Pisner a bit, Well, as you can see, my buddy's not around no more, and like 3 of his cousins and his brother aren't around either. So that's kind of how he is.
Yes. So one of our group, and anyone stop me if I'm saying things that Marie doesn't actually know. One of our group has lost an appendage to
Mr. No,
Pisner.
Patrick is missing a finger. Yeah.
Yes. And
he's been groping me with 9 fingers for the past few minutes.
Well, and I suppose you could thank Mr. Pisner for that not being full 10.
He cut it off? That's good. He let you keep the hand though, so that's good.
He did. And he is
like you're up 4 fingers in my book. Most of the time, just chop the hand right off.
He seems to be a bit obsessed with our group at the moment. We've got some LAPD officers that seem to be following us around a bit.
Well, that ain't Pisner. That's Walker. So LAPD, there's like half of them we got, on our payroll. Half of them Walker's got on his. And then there's like another half, that's kind of like, Boy Scouts or something that kind of think they're doing something right, But it's all right. Like they can only do so much,
So have you all ever paid Mr. Tremmel a visit out in Pasadena?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, Tremmel's kind of like the brains or something. I think I don't really know. Mr. Kone's the one who kind of makes the strategic decisions. Like I'm like the pawn, and he's like the king or the queen or whatever. Whatever's really strong, like a knight or something. I'm just a pawn, so I don't really do a lot of the thinking. He just kind of tells me to do what I'm supposed to do. But the way I understand it is like we're in this sort of delicate balance, like where if we push too hard, then we start to, get the blowback. And plus Walker, you think Pisner's bad? Well, Walker's like 100 times worse, but he's really smart about it, So that's why Coney we do these little things here and there. It's the price of doing business. Little reminder, love tap every now and then to stay out of the neighborhoods and territories. Be careful where you're expanding, that sort of thing. We go full on hog on them. It causes, that's bad for business, for everybody.
I see. And escalation here, escalation there, and things just get out of control before you know it.
Sure.
I understand that.
As he
what
like
about
wiping off the knife blood on Patrick's shirt. Like that's pretty good knife, pretty sharp.
What about occult involvement? It seems that there's quite a bit of interest from Trammel and them about some of that. Is that any rumors that you all have heard?
Kind of looks over at Shima, and then he kind of tries to turn his body so that Shima can't see his mouth when he looks at Marie. And he kind of very quietly is like, I don't know what that means. Cult?
So, there's sort of the standard accepted organized religions, and then there's sort of the cults that believe in otherworldly things, a little more monstrous of sorts.
Lady, you sure you didn't take some of it too?
No, I assure you, I did not. There are academic studies of such things, that there are different cultures around the world who believe in different things, and it would appear that's so. The answer is no. It doesn't seem that that's anything that you've heard about. And Marie just sort of looks over to Shima like, sorry for breaking your what do I hear?
All right. Is there anything else that you all wanted to do while in this little den? Anything more that you all wanted to do?
Just a sanity check on like that room in the front to see if anything is different than like the writhing mass of fucked upness and art.
Sure. If you start,
especially that last thing that you said, the art, like drawings on the wall and stuff.
Okay, so you can tell when you come out, they are. It is sweaty. It just reeks in here, and there's grunts and squelches. There's stains on the floor, fresh now. It is not a very attractive looking experience that you're looking at as you try to shy away from it as best you can. You can see that the man who had been at the easel has now joined in, and so now there's just like the full four of them doing all manner of things that don't look like what a loving couple would do to one another, but they are doing it nonetheless. Go ahead and roll spot hiddens for anybody who wants to do it. Patrick, I would say no, don't worry about it. There's probably an urge for you.
It smells wonderful. They're having the time of their life.
Yeah, and you're like pushing against like Johnny, who's just got you thrown over his shoulder like you're like a sack of potatoes and having no issues with it. But yeah, you definitely feel this desire to get in. How did those spot hiddens go?
Pretty good for Shama's 64 regular success.
Okay.
Regular success for Marie as well.
So, two things. I'll give each of you one thing. So, Shima, you would notice on the canvas that you now can actually get a good view of, now that the man is no longer sitting in his easel blocking it, is a big, hideous mouth that bears a striking resemblance to a dream that you had in which you saw Patrick Price swallowed up and bit in half by swamp water. And you can see that this is this ink drawing, pure blacks and whites, the kind of various grayscale. Extremely well done, in fact. This man seems to be extraordinarily talented, of a kind of a swampy area. And you can see that there is a large mouth that seems to be swallowing up swamp water. And there seems to be a body that's kind of being chewed and bitten in half. I do need you to roll a sand test as you look at this, and this sparks a very clear memory of a dream that you had just a few days ago.
Failed at 68.
One sand loss as this strikes you.
Okay.
And then Marie, you do notice that the song is different. It's still that kind of classical guitar, this haunting kind of classical guitar, and a woman singing, still Spanish. You don't speak Spanish. You would probably know that Pastor Wood speaks Spanish, though. I think that would be fair. Is that okay? Yeah, Steven's nodding. So it's possible you could later make an interroll or something like that to possibly write down some of these phrases. But you do notice that there is on the ground, there is like the sleeve has sort of fallen off from where he had changed the record or flipped it over. So you do see now, again, you now have access to this little corner that the naked artistic man was kind of covering, and you could get back to that now. And you do see like the label of the record spinning in the sleeve as well. And you would notice that I have a handout now that I think about it. Yeah, so let me give you 1 second. I do have a handout for this one.
Record.
So when you look at it, it is a record that A and B, their songs are nameless. There's not an actual names listed for the songs in any particular way. You do see that the songs themselves aren't very long, but there's a couple printings of, you think, the same song on the same side, like over and over again. And you are able to notice that the B label lists a post office box in Distrito Federal, Mexico, right? And that's about it. So that is the one thing that kind of catches your attention.
Okay. And Marie will listen and see if she can catch sort of like a refrain or something like that to, kind of have some lyrics to repeat back to Pastor Wood later. So if there's kind of words that kind of get repeated, she'll try to remember what those words are.
Right. We'll roll an int test and see how well you do later. Don't worry about it now. And then you all will leave. Where would you be headed? Would you be going back to your hotel at this point to try to sober Patrick up or something else?
I would think we wouldn't really want him.
We're doing 2 cars again, right? So who's... So I think we took 2 cars to come here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Sharma is going to ask Johnny if he wouldn't mind bringing Patrick back and coming back to the hotel, which he knows what it is because he took me there to get changed this morning.
Yeah, no problem. I can do that.
Okay, then Marie and I will come in the second car.
Is it all right if I put him in the trunk, though?
Patrick is like, oh, whatever you need to do to get him there in one piece.
I think if you can just tie his hands behind his back, so he can just lay down in the back.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. You're smart. Yeah, that's a good idea. Is that something the cults do? They like put... Never mind. No, it's okay. It's fine. And he does what you
Maybe
ask.
some of them do.
All right, so we will cut then back to our Pastor Wood and Beverly Key. What have the two of you decided that you want to do with the information that you just gleaned from the Magnificent Villa Auction Services?
Dr. Key?
So I think our first priority is getting you cleaned up more.
I really wish you would have told me that I smell this bad. I thought I got it all off in the shower. I'm rather embarrassed.
It didn't start out that bad, but it's progressively getting worse.
Oh, it's one of those that builds.
Yeah, and it's mossy.
That is a strange term for it, but I suppose I could understand. Let's head back to the hotel and I'll take a shower.
I wanna clarify. You don't smell that. You just
got it.
smell him
Okay.
being
I just
nasty.
smell nasty
Yeah.
BO. Okay.
The smell of moss is like in Pastor Wood's nose.
Got it. Okay. I thought the lady
Yeah.
smelt it. Just never mind.
He just smells like nasty. It's basically
Got it.
what
Okay.
It's just
You're not ill, are you? Like, do you have any wounds that are festering?
Well, yes, I do.
And
I have several.
You haven't shown them to me. Why?
Well, you're not a medical doctor. You're a professor. Am I correct?
I am a professor of anthropology, correct, but I also am well versed in first aid.
Well, I know first aid as well. You apply pressure to the
Obviously
wound. You
not.
wash it with fresh water.
There are more steps to it than just fresh water. Let's head back and
So we head back to the hotel.
I've seen your handkerchief.
Exactly.
You head back to the
Just
hotel.
playing a chat.
I wash it in the sink every night. What are you talking about?
Okay, so if you head back after going downtown, going through the records, etc., and then they're heading back, for the sake of ease, we'll say, as you get done bathing yourself again, Pastor Wood, you see that there is a very large man in your room, and he's carrying Patrick Price, and he kind of drops Patrick Price down on the bed, and he looks over. Hey, how's it going?
I go for my gun.
Oh, hey there, old fella. No, hey, Shimer.
You tell Pisner if he wants to send someone after me, he's going to have to send someone faster than this.
Man, if I wanted you dead, man, you'd be. Hey, Shimer, there's an old man pointing a gun at me.
Shimer comes in. Pastor, what happened to your face?
Doesn't matter what happened to my face. Who is this? Do you know this man, Miss Oberon?
This is
I'm
Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Stumpinato.
Johnny. And
He
Johnny
extends his hand to try to get you to shake it.
Pastor, what happened? What happened?
I apologize, Johnny. Name's Pastor Zephaniah Wood. I assumed you were an associate of Pisner.
Did
No, I mean,
Jack
I know.
Pisner do that to you?
I don't believe it was all him personally, no. He had some Confederates.
Well, so you found him? And then he did this to you? And she is visibly, obviously kind of distraught.
Miss Oberon, I believe you and I are focused on two different points at this moment. Right now, there is a rather large man in my hotel room carrying the body of my good friend.
Johnny is helping us with Patrick, who...
Yeah, I think he's better too. He hasn't been being as grabby. So can I put my hands down and tie him?
Yeah, I put the gun down.
Of course.
Okay.
I keep
Johnny,
it
I'm
on
sorry.
me.
And so Patrick, as you get kind of thrown down, we'll say an hour or so has passed. Okay. And you do start to feel more like yourself. You're feeling less and less like you want to reach out and love someone. You do have some, you have some strange kind of thoughts starting to shift through you. You feel like there's a kind of a tang in your mouth, like this like a flavor in there. You realize too that at some point between when he put you in the car and dropped you down here that you soiled yourself. And you do feel like embedded in your nose is this just smell of moss that just won't leave it. Like it's so potent that your eyes are almost watering, and you feel a melody start to fade from your mind, and you realize for a moment, like the thought comes back to you, like there is one moment when you were in the kitchen where you felt this like urge to. You quickly shook it away, and you just like your memory starts to immediately leave you. It's like waking up from a dream, and like everything's just like it's like water dripping between your fingers, and you just remember something awful. Like you would have been willing to do something awful, and you forget specifically anything about it. And that is what state you're in as you flop down on the bed. But you're coherent again, with some problems, obviously, but you're coherent again.
Hey, guys, the more the merrier, but I need a shower.
But on your
Shower's
own.
open.
On your own.
Of course, I've been
it's
invited
going to be
before.
on his own.
Oh, good. Oh, good. And Marie just sort of looks at Shima, and he seems to be doing better now. Yes. Off with you.
Okay.
All right, so listen, you guys seem to have like a lot you gotta like work out with your grandfather here. So,
Hey, actually, Johnny, would you mind just waiting for just 5 minutes in the lobby for me? I have something for you.
yeah. I gotta go see Mr. Akone, but yeah, I can wait 5 minutes for you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll be really quick. And she runs off in the other direction to her room.
Nice to meet all of you. Fun times, yeah. And no hard feelings, Patrick. Anyway.
So since Shima ran out of the room, Marie's just sort of going to see that she went that way and just sort of do kind of a bringing up to speed with Pastor Wood about the events since he did not go to the party.
That's fine.
This is before she starts. This is when Beverly busts in. She's got some medical stuff, but she's got a surprising amount of makeup also in her arms to like try and like hide Pastor Wood's bruises and other things that are like visible to help clean him up a bit.
That is quite wise. Did he? Oh, I can quite imagine that visage would have gathered some attention while the two of you were out and about today.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Did you look in the mirror?
Your face.
I suppose it is a little swollen.
Not so much for polite company.
But what does that have to do with the bag of makeup?
I'm going to make it more flesh colored.
Oh.
Versus the yellow and green and purples that it is right now.
Yes, this is very, very wise. And so then while Pastor Wood is being patched up and made up, Marie will info dump.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll say that's the debrief is happening. What is Shima doing down in the lobby as like you see Johnny's just sort of waiting around. You get down to the lobby and you can see that there's a handful of like hotel guys who are like kind of eyeing him. Like they want to go up and ask him to stop loitering, but they're afraid to go up and ask him to stop loitering. But he's just kind of hanging around, kind of talking to himself a little bit, like in the corner, just kind of doing this and that. Like, okay. And then he turns out, oh, hey, Shima.
Hey, and she comes out with this really like beautifully crisp like white envelope with a card inside it, and outside in really like formal script it says Massimo Akone, and she gives him the card and said, "This is a thank you note for Mr. Akone. I was hoping you might give it to him the next time you see him."
Yeah. I got it. I'm going to see him in a little while. I got to
wonderful. Oh,
yeah,
that's great. Thank you. Also, thank you for today. I'm at the university on a full ride wrestling scholarship, so I kind of have to fight to be able to do the other stuff, and I think today I sort of learned that people have to fight for other reasons. So
yeah, you could tell he's trying to figure it out.
Thank you for anyway, this is for you to thank you. And she gives him this very well thumbed version of a book called Caleb's Revenge.
Oh, this is for me?
And yes. I don't know if you've heard it. It's well, I mean, it's basically Romeo and Juliet, but it's about gangsters. And so
Who's-
maybe you like
Who's
it.
Romeo and Juliet?
There are these, you should read it. Maybe you like it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I never read a book before that didn't like have pictures and stuff in it and everything. But no, this is great. Yeah. I'll
But,
read
I
this.
mean, you don't have to read it if you don't want to.
No.
I
I want to give you something too.
no, you.
No. And he like reaches in, he like
don't-
pulls the knife out. No, that ain't right. And he puts it back away. And he's like,
Actually, what
No.
you could give me, Johnny, if you don't mind, is maybe you could tell me how I could meet you, because I don't know how long I'm going to be in Los Angeles. So
oh,
maybe
yeah,
do you
yeah.
have a phone number or something? So, and she pulls out the
Well-
book that she's been taking all the notes in, and
Okay.
thumbs to the back. And there's that signature there's a signature from Marie, and there's like 2 columns of like dollar amounts with Dr. Key's name next to them. And she's been like keeping a tally of everything she owes Dr. Key.
That's awesome. That's so
And she
awesome.
kind of hands it to him with a pen, like, do you have a way that I can meet you?
I mean, yeah, like I got like I don't got like my own phone, but like you
No,
could
me
call the
either.
like you
Neither.
could, yeah, I mean, like you could call the, well, I'll just put the number down, right? This is like, you call, they just ask for me. If I'm not there, just leave a message. Don't worry, like, they're good people, they're my people, like, and like if you want to like write or something, and he kind of writes down, like, you could go, no, that ain't right. Hey, this ain't a pen. Oh, sorry. And he writes something else down. Like, yeah, you can write here. And like, here, take this. And he pulls out like a flask, like this dented, tarnished, like rusty flask. It ain't pretty looking. He's like, yeah, to remember me by,
Oh, thank you. I hope I'll see you again before I leave Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's just gin inside it, and it isn't very good.
Oh, I've
but
never had gin.
well, that's not a good like introduction to it, But you might want to dump it out and like get your doctor friend to put something good inside,
No, I'll probably really like it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, here you go. And listen, I'll put the word out, about Pisner, but like he's a snake in the grass. Like he's
Did
sneaky.
not know Pastor Wood was going to be so hurt by him.
Oh, your grandfather? Yeah, I'm surprised like that he's alive at all. That's pretty good. The old man seems scrappy.
He is that.
Or he really pissed off Pisner, because like usually the guys Pisner doesn't like, he kills him. But if he really hates you, then he kind of keeps you alive and he plays with you like your food, and he takes everything that you love from you, and then he kills you. So, but like, there's not a whole lot. He's protected, but we'll make sure you'll be fine. Like, you'll be okay. Anyhow, I gotta get going.
Yeah, no,
He has no idea what he's just sort of rambling.
And before he goes, she summons up all the courage in the world and gives him a quick kiss in the cheek, but does not look to see what his reaction is and runs off in the other.
Okay, so all right, back in the room. You all have been talking. What have the four of you been talking about doing? What's going on with you four?
Well, I think after the info dump, Pastor would be pretty curious to see that there's multiple connections to Mexico. With the book called Nahua Legends, that would stick out to him, as his wife is half Nahua herself. And then the record, there's a couple connections that just make him curious about if that's maybe the next direction to head.
So I just made my int roll to see if I could recall some of the lyrics from the song that we were hearing. And I rolled a 75 over 60.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and spend the 15 of the 23 luck that I have to better remember the lyrics.
Okay. So you remember certain phrases, and they were very repetitive. And, when you start thinking about it, being a professional singer, like even though it's a different language, like the rhythm of it felt odd. Like it didn't feel like there was like whole lengthy, complex lyrics. Instead, it was just sort of repeated phrases. So, mi corazón, like which Pastor Wood, corazón, which is heart, I think. Sorry, my Spanish is not great.
Yep.
Mi amor, love. You would know, Pastor. Mi nombre, name. And then when she says one to you, Pastor, when it really stands out, in fact, she says mi boca, mouth. And those are the ones that she wrote down, and they were said over and over and over and over again.
And I translate them as you say them.
Oh, I'm so glad I was able to remember those. This is quite... I agree. Do seem to be... And we were just at UCLA, and now we know that some of the books that came from Echeverria were right there, where we were. And then there's Pasadena and Mr. Trammell. What are we thinking? We've got Trammell that's been in the shadows. We've got Walker that's been in the shadows. What do we believe we are to do about that? A trip to Pasadena, perhaps, to knock on the door and see what awaits us?
I wouldn't mind having a word with him if we can find him.
He's the source of all this nectar.
Oh, so glad to see that you're doing better, Mr. Price.
Remember killing one guy? Now I'm here.
Trammell walks into this one looking very red.
Welcome back, Miss Oberon.
Thank you.
Do you have a trinket in your hand, it would appear?
Oh, it's gin. I've never had gin.
Yes. Well, I suppose the thing itself is probably more valuable than what's inside. That's a lovely token of affection.
And she is kind of beaming.
What a rather strange gift.
Well,
and I didn't think it was strange. I thought it was nice.
It is a lovely gift. It is quite lovely, in fact.
I've never gotten a gift from a boy. And this is a nice gift.
Well, it looks like he took something that was valuable to him and shared it with you. So that is great. And she sort of looks over at Patrick and just says, I'm quite glad he was actually with us earlier. I'm not sure that any of the rest of us would have had the strength to keep Mr. Price at bay while he was under the influence, as it were.
How are you feeling now, Mr. Price? Do you need food or water or?
Well, we've been partying since last night, and I don't think any of us slept.
No.
And if I spend any more time here with Pastor Wood, who knows what businessmen will do?
Oh, yes, that is a good point.
So we can make plans to see Trammell. We'll meet you there.
Yes. Out to Pasadena. We do need to rest because we have not slept in over a day, I don't believe.
That is true. Pastor Wood has.
I would also like to check with the front desk to see if there's been any calls from my family.
Okay. You head down and you do ask, and there have not been any.
I will send another message.
To be fair, you sent your telegram about 6-7 hours ago. So
right. I'm still going to send another one.
Fair enough.
Just to make sure that my family, when they get it, they know it's serious.
Gotcha. Okay. Second mission sent.
Can you? We've sent one to Judith, right?
Janet.
We sent a message to the
Janet,
pilot.
Yes.
excuse me.
You sent a
Okay,
message to the
perfect.
pilot who is going to inform Janet Winston Lodge
Janet.
to be careful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then while they're talking, if they brought or if Marie had handed anything to Beverly to look over from the den, that's what she would be focusing her attention on. Because
Did you
wasn't
take
there
anything? Oh,
We
that's
just have
right.
the camera.
The broadside.
Yeah.
That Shima. A broadside's like a little advert. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of the camera, you would need to get that. You need to get the film developed, which in 1936 was a lot different than what we do now and what we did in the 90s. So, like, you could potentially seek out somebody, but it's not something that you could do instantly. You could find somebody. You can even ask the front desk.
No, it takes 1 hour.
I don't know if we would maybe reach out to get the materials to do it, but depending on what, because we don't know what images are on it, so I wouldn't ask someone to develop.
I would say,
them.
do any of you have photography as a skill?
No.
I don't think any of you would know how to do it then, because it's not an easy thing to do. It's not something
Potentially ask Edexy to see if he knows like art students at UCLA. They could help us.
That's
that's a
probably
good
what you'd have to do.
opportunity.
Find like someone that you might be able to trust to do it. Sure.
Traumatize some poor student.
Absolutely. Because there's definitely not going to be anything untoward on those photos.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have handouts for them. So
Thank you.
Beverly, what languages do you speak?
I speak Latin.
Okay. Then give me an education test. We'll say, because
Take some boost if you want to.
yeah, because you wouldn't know specifically.
79 under 80.
Oh dear. Okay.
Holy shit.
The only thing
Success
you
is
would
a
be able,
success.
the only thing that you would be able to recognize. Well, did you want to spend any luck or anything?
How much would it be?
I've worked my way down to 8 luck. That's
You don't have to.
Hard
I
is
will tell you.
39? No.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So I'll say you would be able to recognize with 79 that this is likely. It's something someone could maybe easily mistake with a handful of other languages in the same region. However, you are a learned individual. You've studied Latin, although you probably haven't studied this language specifically. You probably have read some documents here and there in terms of your anthropology days and studies where it have to be translated. You think this might be Thai.
Oh.
The folks with the tattoos in Savannah, did we hear them speaking Thai or like they just looked Thai?
They didn't speak Thai. The language that they spoke made no sense to your ears, and it kind of unnerved you all. What you do recall though, that like it was a mixed group of people. Like there were definitely some like, just Caucasian looking folks, like otherwise whatever. But you do recall that they had like a few of them, especially the big woman who fought with you, Shima, that you do recall that she kind of had like a what was I saying? Like a Southeast Asian or an East Asian, like it kind of had like it was hard, it's hard to distinguish. Like 1936, I feel like it's hard for somebody to make clear distinguishing. So it's sort of in that arena. So this could line up with that, sure. And
we also did know from our research that the funding came from a Daniel Lohman in Bangkok.
Specifically, Shima got that, I think, right? By befriending the people and
promising Marie
selling Marie off to do a wedding. Yeah. I recall
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a couple things that have pointed to Thailand now, to Bangkok. Okay. All right. So what we'll say is, it's afternoon. Okay. Not nighttime yet, afternoon. There sounds like there's maybe two or three things that you're interested in. It sounds like there's this UCLA thing, possibly to get photographs, maybe if you can get Ed to hook you up with somebody. Their UCLA
For
and Hamish
books.
McDunn did apparently
Yeah.
buy a lot of books and not tell you guys about it. And then you're interested at some point. You do have the address for Samson Trammell. You don't have anything for Captain Walker. Actually, no, you have a phone number. And then when you looked it up, I believe had the same address as like you have for Samson
Yeah,
Trammell.
the Pasadena.
Yeah.
So for UCLA, the books that the title specifically that Bestwood and Dockery uncovered at the auction house, I would really like to have Shami either like go through library records or like try to find those books or like work with those titles specifically if there is access to the UCLA library happening soon.
Okay. Okay, we can. So if you want to try to access the library, sure, we could try to do that. Whether or not, like, you wouldn't have access to those books. They're rare books that he had that were
Sure.
purchased. So those aren't the types of things that you would just be able to find in a library. But you do know that they purchased them. So that's it. So if you-
Right.
yeah.
So I'm sorry, I should be more clear. It's plan B if Hamish McDunn doesn't if that doesn't pan out to know what kind of books they are, I'd like to spend the time in the library to find out.
Okay. So do we
Hard
want
catalog?
do we want to say you all rest for the rest of the day and start this up tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Okay. Everyone good with that, Patrick? Is that okay?
Yeah, as long as I go to my solo accommodations.
Yeah. So you're going to get back into your car and kind of retake over your alter ego as Jerry
Jerry.
Price. And you
Jerry's
head over to another hotel. And so we'll say then we'll close then on you all cleaning up, going to your respective rooms, getting some rest, getting something to eat. And we'll stop there and we'll pick up next time with a handful of other things that you guys want to do.
Point of clarity. Did the second shower take?
Yeah, you took a shower. The
Does
first
he
one took
still
two. It's just-
No,
stink?
did the stink start to go away?
How many changes of clothes does Pastor Wood have?
I bet he has a second pair of pants and then he
Because
just
you've told
rewashes
me
the shirt.
specifically that he doesn't have much. So I was playing it that
That's
it wasn't
fair.
so much
That's fair.
you
No, that's
smelled,
fair.
but your clothes smelled. You didn't say anything about cleaning
All
your
right.
clothes.
He's washing his clothes now too.
But no, in truth, that mossy smell is continuing to fade for you. Like it's fading each hour. It's like to the point
Gotcha.
where it's almost gone. Okay, so we have more to do. We're still in LA. Like I said, we're very, very close. But we still have a handful of things to do, and we'll see how that goes. We'll pick it up next
Not
week.
rising
Maybe
action.
Holy
maybe it's our
crap.
last LA, maybe second to last LA. But I don't think we have many. I think we have 1 to 2 left. Is probably where I think we're at, especially with like your 2D list. But we'll see how it goes.
Oh,
You doing all right? Everyone okay?
Yes.
Yes. Oh
Have
my
fun?
god,
Yeah.
that
Great
was
session.
so
Great
good,
session.
Jeff.
Okay.
Good job,
All right.
Long, rolling with accidentally taking some
Yeah.
nectar.
Thanks for being.
This is a
Thanks for being
hell of
cool.
a crit damage. That was really good.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a bad session of Cthulhu yet. Like this has been a
No,
top tier
no.
campaign.
It
really
really
has.
has. It
Are
really,
you saying
really
you're
has.
waiting for one? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm just saying you set the bar really high and you keep knocking it out of the park.
And then you qualified
We've
it as
been
Call of
having a ton of
Cthulhu. Are you
fun.
saying there have been bad sessions of other games, Steven, that I've run?
Oh.
Yeah, like all the Marvel games I ran, those were all
No,
bad.
I meant
All the
about what
Forbidden
it was
Lands
about.
games.
no.
Okay, first of all, I
Oh,
had
no.
a blast in Marvel, and you know. it.
Okay, I'm teasing. I'm
and
teasing. Let's move on.
You and I have talked extensively about whatever. Steven is fishing for compliments.
Fishing everywhere. But no, Call of
Let's-
Cthulhu's been a ton of fun. Everybody's doing a fantastic job. Lots and lots
Okay.
and lots and lots of fun.
If everybody is doing a fantastic job, then you could equally say that everyone is doing a terrible job. Can you not?
That's,
No,
I mean, you could.
no.
If
Or I
everyone's
could
on
just
the
say
same
everyone's doing a
But
fantastic
why
job.
would you say that?
No, because there are people outside of this group that do a terrible job. Everyone in this group
Wow.
does a fantastic job.
All of you
Wow,
listening
Steven,
that
you
also
just
run
keep,
games and hang out in our Discord, Steven just said, you guys suck at what you do. You heard
I
him.
didn't
Let's
say
clip it.
everyone outside
clip
this
it.
group.
Let's clip that. It's right there.
Thanks for
I'm getting a
watching, everybody.
migraine.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right, let's close this down. Maitreyi, let's start with you. Where can we find you on the wonderful internet?
Well, when I'm not jonesing for 15 more minutes of Cthulhu, I am either plays games on YouTube, and I make system agnostic multi-system content about GM and play experience of tabletop. So if you want to check that kind of thing out, you should check it out.
Fan freaking task. And you've had some recent videos, actually. Yeah.
Every Wednesday is what
awesome.
I'm trying.
Great. That's fantastic. Yeah. I know when we first started, like I was very much like, okay, we're going to do this. 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 And I stuck with it. And then stupidly, I was like, okay, and then we're going to add this on top of it. And then I was like, okay, then we're going to add this on top of it. And then we're going to add this on top of it. And you guys wouldn't realize it, but I'm actually only 24 years old. I don't look it, and all the gray hairs suggest something else. But other than that, let's go over what we've got coming up. So next thing, Monday, come back for Fragged Empire, where you can see myself, you can see Maitreyi, you can see Melissa. And so we're playing through some wonderful, amazing space shenanigans in the vein of Farscape. On Tuesday, Steven, what are we up to?
Tuesday, we are finishing our two-shot of Cloud Empress. It's inspired by Nausicaa of the Wind. It's based on Mothership rules. It was a lot of fun. Giant cicada, kind of like kaiju in an anime-inspired setting. What's not to love? A lot of fun.
Absolutely. And, while you're talking, Steven, you might as well tell them a little bit about another really, really awesome game out there and how they can go about accessing it.
Well, when I'm not having my compliments subverted by Jeff, to take a key from Maitreyi there, I am also designing my own game. I've got a Weird West tabletop RPG game that's being worked on. It's in active development, active play testing, and I need play testers. So all you got to do is join our Discord, click on the little cowboy when you accept the rules, and you'll get the playtester role. And whenever there's a session open, you can jump in and help me play this game, and you can get credited as a playtester too when it finally releases, hopefully around Gen Con.
And I can say that all of us on the screen have now played the game.
That's
and
true.
It's freaking fantastic. So you should.
So
you should
good.
It's Billy Boone's dying to come back and play more Huckleberry.
I would like to play.
That was great.
I would like to play more of Josh Allen, the Buffalo Man.
Excuse me, Beavitor the Minotaur?
There could be two Buffalo. We could be friends.
Good.
I had immersed an actual man first.
Yes.
Nice.
That was
Very nice.
delightful.
She was just
Nice.
carrying around the body of a thug that she beat up. Yeah.
All these
And
wonderful
made him
tales
carry things.
can be yours simply by joining the Discord, hitting the little cowboy man, and joining us in various playtests. Okay, then what else we got going on? Next Thursday, we got new games, Simba Room, which is first episode's up on YouTube right now. So you should check it out. Very excited. We're going to be playing it for approximately 17 years. So come get in on the ground floor and you can say you were there when. On Friday next week, we're going to be playing some Delta Green. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces on the screen in that game. And then obviously next Saturday, we'll be back with more Call of Cthulhu. Go ahead and also check out our YouTube page, Adventures in Lollygagging. Follow us over there if you can. Follow us here on Twitch. If you're watching this later on stream or on podcast or whatever the hell you're watching this, thank you very, very much. We got all sorts of wonderful games, including a few new ones. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to raid our friends over at Diesel Shot, who are playing, looks like their own game, Change Stars, which just came out. So follow that raid. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
I'll be seeing you.